Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Talking with the Professionals. I, of course, am Aaron Stelly, and as always, alongside me is my partner, Graham Parham. And today we have two awesome guests for everyone. We've got Shawn and Joni Wolfswinkel. They've got decades of experience in real estate and a lot of good stuff they're going to share us. Shawn and Joni, welcome on, and thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, it's honored. This is gonna be fun.
Yes.
So,
It's always good to talk to you guys. Joni, you look great as usual. Shawn,
Thank you.
What can I say?
Absolutely.
Cool.
And yeah, so
No
for a lot of our
comment, no
viewers
comment.
who might not know, Graham and I were although we're licensed all over the US, we're local in Dallas, and Shawn and Joni are out of Houston. So we've had a couple luckily we're not too far away from each other. So we've gotten to really connect and develop a bond over the years. But I want to back up real quick and dive right in because as you know, we're going to get into everything great that Shawn and Joni offer their clients on a typical basis. And like I said at the beginning, they've been in the industry in real estate for over 25 years in a couple different markets. So let's backtrack to the very beginning. And Shawn and Joni, I know, I believe you two were high school sweethearts, even started investing in college. So what drew you to this industry? How'd you get going? Tell us a little bit about your story and your start. We'd love to know.
Wow.
Start?
You can if you like.
Yeah,
Wait a minute, who asked who out? Did you ask him out?
So let's
Loaded question.
I want to go there, Graham.
So she asked me. And,
Okay, all right.
Love it.
It's
And
because I was smart. I knew where he was going.
and she is my old lady. So I'm the young
Gotcha.
one, and you couldn't tell if you looked at us, but
By like 2 months. So
but no, we so it's the background on all that story is I kind of grew up in an entrepreneur family. My dad owned a small business cabinetry shop. He made custom furniture and cabinetry for homes, and so I grew up in that industry. And then and my mom is a retired OB/GYN, but she was in private practice, so she owned her own business as well. But so when I was 19, I went to college and on a scholarship at the University of New Mexico, and my parents had given me a little bit of money to go to college, and I chose to spend all that money on a late night infomercial. So I bought a bunch of boot camps and seminars and a mentorship program, and that's how it all got started.
So I wasn't the favorite girlfriend back then because I was like, all right, yeah, let's do this.
Oh, well, that's cool. Was
yes.
that what is it? Sheets? Is that his name?
No, that was
it
Russ Whitney.
Russ Whitney.
Oh, okay. All right.
You remember that? Yeah. And so the good thing that I got out of all that is we started with wholesaling, and I started Todd Dotson there in local to Dallas was our mentor, and he ran a mentorship program. And I had a guy out of Detroit, Michigan come out to New Mexico and work with us for a whole week. And he liked Joni and I. He took us under his wing, and he did the first 6 deals with us.
Right, which was great because I mean he held our hand throughout the entire process.
So we bought some houses, rehabbed them. He provided all the money and experience because we were 19-year-old kids. We didn't have any money, and that's how we got our start. So Joni and I had a real different college lifestyle. We would pick our classes early in the morning so that we could go and run our job sites in the afternoon. And so that we jumped right in. It's all we've ever done. We went full time when we graduated, and
then we got into, it was the height of the foreclosure market where Shawn and I were knocking on pre-foreclosure doors in our 20s. And so talk about getting out of your comfort zone, knocking on pre-foreclosure doors. And that's really what brought us to Texas in 2005.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know if I could do that. I mean, nothing. I mean, those things happen all the time. Now, you get postcards in the mail, the auto dialers and all the rest of them. But back then you didn't have any of that. You just really had to knock on the door.
Knock on doors.
And I remember the very first door we knocked on here in Texas, it was this big guy, about 6'5", like 200 pounds. And I go up there.
I put Joni in front of me real quick.
I go up there, I knock on the door, and I'm looking up at him, I do my spill, and he's like, "You have the audacity to come knocking on my door." He slams the door, and I thought it was going to shatter in like a million pieces. My heart was pounding so hard, like, can I do this?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Got to start somewhere. Yeah.
Yep.
No, we could write a whole book on all the all the journeys with door knocking. I mean, we help people that were in some really difficult situations. We you know, a lot of it, the sad part about that situation is a lot of times they're in that situation because of either drugs, alcohol, divorce. So you're dealing with some sticky situations. And so, you know, helping them either find an apartment, and they're so paralyzed, they don't know what to do. So you have to make a lot of decisions for them or encourage them to make a decision. And, you know, we move people out into apartments, we move their stuff into self-storage. One guy was like literally
On his deathbed.
He had a relative that would bring him food, and just canned food, and he had a can opener, so he never got out of bed. He would just literally eat the canned food. And so I mean, you can imagine like the feces, and so he was a veteran, so we were able to check him into the veteran hospital, and he stayed there 4 weeks. And then we found him a home, an assisted living home, using his veteran benefits. And so anyway, it's like a lot of good came out of it, but you saw some very horrific you know, incidents. But yeah, we had the funny ones were, they're not funny, but they you know, there would be houses that we walk into, and there would be beer cans like across the entire floor, and he would have this little trail, you know, where he'd walk. And so it's like 9 o'clock in the morning, where
They're offering you beer.
he's offering us a beer. What you learn though is you make them feel comfortable, so you go with the flow. So Joni and I are popping open a can of beer and drinking with them at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Relate to in our 20s, like, you know, who's teaching us? Okay, we got to relate to these people. So we're sitting in their living room drinking beer with them at 9 a.m. in the morning. We're like, wow, this is eye-opening.
Oh wow, that is incredible. Now, was that 206 when you started? 2006?
It's about 2003-ish, and then we moved here in 2005. Had a really good run with pre-foreclosure market, and then in 2010, obviously that's when the recession hit, and Shawn and I couldn't retail properties like we used to. So we thought, shoot, we got to figure something out. And that's kind of when our turnkey model was adopted.
Yeah. So we started our management company, and so get this, I was buying houses in Spring, Texas, which grandma owns one in Spring. And we were purchasing homes in 2010 for 35 to 45,000 in Spring. And I was putting 18 to 20,000 into a home.
And selling
them for 68 to 85, and I was nervous. I'm like, I don't know, what if we end up all these rentals? What are we gonna do? We can't keep all these rental properties when nobody buys them. And anyways, looking back, that sounds so foolish, but that's how we got our start.
Yeah, and that's how our property management company was, you know.
Yeah, started. And our first 5 management clients, we didn't have no management company. We were just, I would put all their statements on an Excel spreadsheet. So it'd be like rent, management fee, you know, and then their payment to them. And that's what I would email them to, you know, for the first several months until we started our management company.
Well, now, Joni, you're a big participant in NARPM, I believe, are you not?
Yes, I am.
So you probably pick up a lot of really good information with them.
Oh, absolutely. I'm surrounded with like the top property management companies in the country. So I can see what they're doing around, you know, and what's working, what's not. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and I just want to back up a little bit, kind of since we're diving into the property management a little bit, and for our viewers out there, Shawn and Joni, they have, you know, Texas Turnkey Properties, which is their wonderful turnkey company, and then they have an incredible property management company. I believe last I checked, over like 2,000 doors in both Albuquerque and Houston. Tell us a little bit about the property management. Did I get the markets correct? And what kind of, I know originally you're from New Mexico. What kind of led you to tell us about that Albuquerque market? Tell us about that Houston market, and kind of what y'all saw there as you kind of grew up through where you are now.
Yeah, so I mean, funny story, like, so yeah, it's in Houston, Texas, and Albuquerque, New Mexico, but we started actually in Houston from the turnkey model. Really, that's
Sure.
The only reason why we started the management companies, because we knew that we needed to help our investors, you know, manage the properties for them, and so that's where that started. And then it was just our whole, we wanted to just service investors, right? And help them build wealth through rental real estate is what our focus was. And then several years later, Albuquerque came on. There was a company that was selling out in Albuquerque, and we're like, well, shoot, we know this market pretty well. So why don't we just, go back to Albuquerque and start it there as well? And so that's kind of how that all began.
Yeah, we saw the need. So we were doing well in
Yeah.
Houston, and our clients, and I don't blame them, one much like Graham, they wanted to diversify
That's
in
true.
multiple markets.
Yeah.
And so rather than leave to a competitor, which I don't have a problem with, there's some great people in the country, I wanted them to keep buying from us. And so we started another market so that they could keep, if they liked the experience with us, that they could keep having that same management experience, but just in a different market. And so all our families there, we thought it was, we knew the market, we thought it was a great place to start another business.
And we also own rental property there as well.
Correct.
So it was another thing, is that we wanted our investors to, if we were going to own in those same locations and territories, then we wanted to put our investors in there as well.
Yeah, so as far as the comparisons between the two markets, the Houston, obviously in Texas, got a very robust economy. Houston was the second highest population growth, I think only to Dallas-Fort Worth area. So in the last several years, so it's not only grown population wise, but companies are relocating here. So it's just got a really robust economy, and that's what's creating a lot of the growth and appreciation. And then rents keep rising. Albuquerque is a little different. It's got some, number one is it doesn't have as high a property taxes as Texas. Insurance rates are a lot lower because we don't have all the threats of hurricanes and we're not along the coast.
Right.
And then it's got some really cool landlocked restrictions. So much like I think Las Vegas and stuff like that, it's got Indian reservations north and south. And then it's got the mountains on the east side. So really the only direction the city can build out is on the west. So it creates some forced appreciation just because of landlocked restrictions in the city. And so it really came onto the map with Breaking Bad. If you're familiar, but just Netflix has huge studios there. NBC has some big studios.
And Facebook even has now.
Yeah, so it just became a more for anything the movie industry or the film industry and shows. It was a great place, and artists love to live and visit New Mexico. It's always a great place to visit and for tourism, and so it's really well with the film industry, and so that's really what put it on the map. And a lot of films you watch on Netflix today are filmed in Albuquerque. Yeah.
Need to get out there for that balloon festival once.
Yes.
Yeah,
That should definitely be on your bucket list.
Yeah,
it is
before you die. So.
Sean has to.
It's an inside joke. It's an inside joke. But yeah.
Don't worry, Grandma. I'll get it.
I'm going to be nice today, okay?
I'll get it for you, Graham.
All right, go for it. Aaron, you probably had some more questions.
Yeah. So I just want I was curious, when say a borrower does want to get involved, what does that process look like? Kind of, start to finish. Just take us through, someone watching this video today who is interested in one market or the other. Where would they start? What does that process look like with your group? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So it really starts first with a 30-minute to an hour consultation. That's really
love it.
Where they're going to get their best benefits. So, they set up a call directly with myself. I will walk them through, I tell them our story. We go through our company and its history. And then we get into the process of actually purchasing a property, what that's going to look like, the steps they're going to need to do along that journey. And then talk about the property management, because once they close on the property, okay, here it's going to be turned over to the property management company, and I'll walk them through that whole process and scenario. And so before we ever get into talking specifically about a property or anything, it's more about the experience and what they're, just to make sure that number one, we're all on the same page. This is how we operate, this is how the experience is going to go, and to make sure that they're okay with that and that's what they're expecting. So it's that consultation, and then from there, once half of them, they'll come out and do a site tour. So, and if you have the option to do that during COVID, obviously it was really restricted, but if they have the opportunity to fly out to one of our two markets, they do a one-day tour. So they'll be in our team, they'll meet the property management team, and then we'll actually spend half of the day touring properties. So going to live new construction homes, remodeled properties, and they'll see stuff just started to completed. and they really understand what are they investing in. So whether they select a home there at that point, or they just get a good scenario of what's going to happen, what to expect. Then when they go home, they can select a property and they'll know what they're buying, even though they didn't see maybe that particular property that they're buying. It really doesn't matter, because it just matters about the numbers and the investment, but more importantly, the team that they're working with. And I think that
And the property management company, yeah, which is nice, because like we're TTK, which is Texas Turnkey Properties and Real Property Management. We work out of the same office, so it's nice when we get these tours so they can meet the entire team, not just TTK, but also who's going to be doing the leasing, who's going to be, doing the maintenance, all of that. I think it really helps.
Yeah, and something that we do unique in our property management space is the customer service advisors. So those are their point of contact within the property management company, and so that person's really going to be their advocate and their person they're going to reach out to on a monthly basis. And so one thing that we do is they're going to get assigned a customer service advisor once they close, and that customer service advisor is going to reach out to them for the first 6 weeks after they close, making sure they got their first draw, they got their first owner statement, that they want to walk through that owner statement. Because when you're making a big purchase like this, you're nervous. You're like, did I make the right decision? Am I working with the right people?
And this might be their first investment property as well, so they don't know what to expect.
Right, and then they're going to reach out to them monthly, proactively, every month thereafter, just to go over their statements. It can be depending on their preference style. So I mean, some people just want an email and a summary. Some people want a 30-minute call, and so they're going to meet those needs, and then it just depends on their personality style, but. That's something we do unique in our business, and so that's going to be that relationship building. But when they come do their visit, they get to meet that customer service, so they can put a face with who they're talking to on a monthly basis. And it goes really smooth.
Well, since I know Joni's face, can I just call her instead?
Graham circumvents everything. But I do the same thing here. So like, I know that I'm supposed to reach out to Aaron or somebody else on your guys' team. Like, no, I'm going to go to Graham because he does it for me.
Exactly. Poke the bear. That's right. Poke the bear.
Exactly.
Now, I noticed, and we all noticed that since, well, the inventory was very plentiful in 2010 moving forward. In the last 4 or 5 years, it dwindled down because we are where we are today.
Right.
Enough building. Lots of families still need houses. I mean, it's still that very strong rental market across the country, which is great. So that helps, explain to these customers what you're buying. Hey, as an investor, I'm helping a family, because you were talking about how you help families initially. This is how you can also help them get them into a house, and I think that's great. But I know you were heavily on the rehabs at one time, and then of course the inventory shrank, and then you started doing new builds. You've been, and I actually own a couple of those new builds, down in Spring, or then they're. And I will have to do one claim to fame on this. When your marketing team shoots out a bulletin once a month showing some new inventory and so forth, I still see my house on there. Tell me I'm wrong, but that is my house there on the single family, because that unique brick and all that. Because I picked that out, somebody else picked that out, and then it turned around and sold me a red brick house. But anyway,
it is your house, So
it is my house. But
Brett confirmed.
I own 2 of them. I've seen them being built. They're great properties. He's building single families and duplexes, and the inside is great. I've always given him a hard time about his duplexes, but I think he's finally come around, giving it a facelift, if you will, because it actually modern. Looks. Do what?
It's more modern today.
When he initially started looking, I kind of went, I guess if you walk inside, it's going to look nice, and it did. It's just that you need to get a facelift. So he kind of tweaked it over the years, and it looks really well. Matter of fact, I'd like to show one now, and I'll let you kind of sell it to our audience here. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to look at that right now. Can you see it?
Yep.
All right.
So I mean, these are live properties that we have available right now. So it was hard. For years, we didn't have any duplexes available. Like the minute we would have a new one come out, I already had a buyer's list for years that I was working with. So we finally have worked through that, and we have available duplexes if anybody's interested. But this one is in an area that we built a lot of single family homes and duplexes in. It's 15 to 20 minutes from downtown. So it's a really easy commute. So it attracts a lot of, especially for rental purposes, it really is, they lease immediately and stay filled. But I think our price points, if you compare in the country, you know, for a duplex, for 385 is a really, if I've looked at other markets and on brand new builds. So this means, and just in case anybody doesn't understand our model, we build new construction homes. We are the builders, so we have project managers and construction staff that build these. You, with the investor, you contract it while it's being built, but you don't close and go to closing and purchase it completely until it's tenant occupied. We've done home inspection reports. You get your appraisal. So everything's done up front for you before you ever close. And then the benefit to that is you're making money from day one because you already have tenants in place. And so the numbers that we market are what we get. So, as far as rental, it's $1,600 per unit. They sell for $385. They're large units. So they're 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1,608 square feet per side.
Wow.
And it comes with a 2-year builder warranty. And quality wise, we've done really well. They're stainless steel inside, all stainless steel appliances, either granite or what's the other?
Well, let's just look at some of the pictures here. I think you didn't give me any pictures.
I have to give you pictures.
That's all right.
Do those another time. But taxes, because they are new construction, are so the benefit to buying a new construction home is for your first year, you're going to pay on land value only taxes because we don't reassess our property values until the following year. So for, say you close in April, you're going to pay taxes on land value only for that first year, and then it's going to readjust the second year. So you do get a increased cash flow that first year, and then it just depends on where the market is for that particular neighborhood. So Texas has high property taxes, and part of that's because we don't have a state income tax. And so, there it is. Yeah. So I'm sorry. Yeah, there's some pictures. Brett's put some pictures so you can see if you can see on the behind us. So they're really nice modern units, all vinyl wood, plank flooring, stainless steel. We do that modern railing.
Nice.
I like that railing. It's sharp.
Yeah.
I knew you would, Graham.
Did you see what I was building, Joni?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to send you a new one. So
really nice bathrooms, and so they're very attractive. And for a resident, we typically it's families. Husband, wife, 1 or 2 children, or just a couple. But they love these, and it's nobody's ever lived in them. So they attract really well. Our average tenant is up to 3.5 years stay.
Yeah, about 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're probably renting those things pretty quick, are you not, Joni?
Oh yeah, those rent because they're new construction, so those ones lease out pretty quickly. Yeah.
Within like a week.
Yeah.
To
Wow.
3 weeks.
And we try to market it. So when Shawn says, "Hey, I'm done with these," and we try to, put them on the market pretty quick, so that way we can have somebody lined up by the time the investor purchases.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like you have 2 on that same street. Is that correct?
So this is so what we did with this is we took a lot and subdivided the lot and then built 2 duplexes. So this is an opportunity, I think, for somebody that really is looking to get into. I would buy the whole thing as a both duplexes and get a 4-plex situation. And it's set up to really be like that, but they're individual. So I mean they're titled and platted individually, but I think it's an awesome opportunity for somebody to get like a 4-plex scenario with both of these. So it's 9325 Cam A and 9327 Cam A is what we have available right now. So definitely take a look at that. Graham, you can get into more of the financing on duplexes and talk to some of that, but the cash flow is better on the duplexes than the single family, just because it's 2 units. I think the play down the road, you're starting to see more and more people talk about like house hacking, those scenarios. So down the road, when you're looking to resell these 2, I think there's a lot of opportunity to sell to home, owner occupied, where they live in one unit and rent out the other.
We're seeing actually a lot of that right
Yeah.
now.
We're seeing.
Let me interject
We have
just for a
staff
second.
that do that. Yeah, go for it.
If you talk about that living on one side and renting out the other one, that individual can actually do a 3.5% down on an FHA to get into that house and rent the other one out. I see a lot of people do that. You and I both know Keith that did that. He claims and fames about his fourplex. He moved in one place and rented it out.
That's awesome.
It's a smart way of doing it.
And to add on that point, Graham, we can also use the income from that other unit you won't be living in for qualification income for that borrower. So, a borrower who might not be able to buy a 300 plus primary on their own, now they're looking at a duplex, and it's a walk in the park. So lots of benefits to that model.
But if the investor wants to do just a straight investment and put some tenants in, it is 25% down minimum for Fannie Mae for a duplex. On a single family, we can go as minimal down as 20%. And I believe you still have some single families that you still have available, Shawn, or did you get rid of them?
No, we still have plenty available. So in Houston and some of the surrounding suburbs, we have both right now. So
well, I'm here to tell you guys, I've seen the product, I've seen the build. They stand behind what they do. I mean, it's great. I highly encourage you to reach out to them because they have some excellent products. I mean, the taxes are a little high in Texas, but we have no state income taxes. I mean, that is a wash. And they even have a built-in, I don't even know the name of the company, that each year will help you go and challenge the tax bill there in Harris County, because a lot of times they can get a little crazy, but he usually seems to bring them back in line. So, and I've seen some really nice appreciations on the two that I bought from you guys, which is great. I sold a bunch in Texas over the last 3 or 4 years, but I really wanted to keep those two down there because they're doing well. Okay. And they're good, solid assets. No, those are keeper for a long time. So, but if you ever want to get in touch with Shawn or Joni Wolfswinkel, they're with Texas Turnkey. We're going to have all their information down in the description below. Is there a hotline number that we should have, or should we put that in the listing below?
You can call 281-894-1800. It's a number.
Okay.
Numbers. So I have to look at the flyer. 281-894-1800. And then you can, there'll be a message prompt, but you can ask for, it'll ask you if you're interested in, learning more and all that, and it'll be directed right to me. So, but you can put my direct email, or people can go to Texas Turnkey Properties and schedule.
And I'll have all that information in the description below. And once again, please, if you enjoyed this, please like it or share it with an individual or subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much, Aaron, Shawn, Joni, but hope you have a great day.
Thank you, guys.